have worked with Armando in Veep, and he's just a comic genius. It's all. I mean, when I read the script, I really, really laughed out loud. You know, loud, to the point where my wife said, "What the hell's going on in there?" And I was just reading the script. That's rare. And of course, to be a part of that then was so exciting, you know, and you just never know if it's going to happen, but I was lucky, you know. So, and then I just think the show was so welcoming and funny, and it seemed like a perfect job, and it was.
Yeah, and so for me, I'm just a huge fan. Like, everything he's done, I've watched and I've enjoyed. And we'd met I auditioned for Veep, and so years and years before, we'd kind of had conversations over Skype, but it was just, I feel like it's a cliche, but to know him is to love him. If you've worked with him, I guarantee you'll want to work with him again. It makes sense.
Bit of an update. The 3 injured passengers no longer injured.
At last, bit of good news.
No. They're dead.
Probably should have led with that, Billie.
Right.
There's a lot that can go wrong, and it does. And I think we were talking about how the fact that both Spike and Billie's characters, they kind of are fully aware of the impact and the dangers and what each little degree off course is actually going to mean. So armed with that knowledge, they have a very realistic idea of what's going to happen. But then it kind of means that they play a very important role in keeping everyone else calm and keeping up the veneer so it doesn't cause mass panic kind of thing. But yeah, it was lovely to be the one in the know. That was kind of a fun thing to play.
But for whatever reason, Spike doesn't get quite the props that he should be getting in this situation.
Well, because he really is not up to date with all the stuff that's going on, and he wants to be a help, but he is a little behind the times. But he's delighted that they're stuck up there. It's to him, it's like, you know, Six Flag Mountain. You know, he's got everything he wants, and why go back to Earth? This is just delightful here. There's so much to drink and so many single moms, and God, it's paradise.
So much to drink for now, at least. Eventually it'll all run out and they'll have to drink like recycled urine. And yeah, I don't know. Like
probably you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking today about what about the people who need their meds? You know, what are they going to do? You know, I mean, there must be people on the ship who are you know, it's going to be a lot of tragedy, I think.
What the hell's going on?
Should we be scared?
This is a safe space. Emotionally, physically, we're obviously in terrible danger.
You are no stranger to space in your acting career. Was there any space-related expertise? I mean, there are some real things.
Yeah. Like
that play in the show. They sound ridiculous, like the feces and the radiation.
That's a real thing.
But yeah, did you have any space experience?
Well, on Star Trek, when we had a physicist and a kind of like with the show the whole time we were doing it, and we would take the scientific ideas, and he called it rubber science. He said, yeah, this could work under the right circumstances. This might be. But on our show, I think everything really was very well researched to say, yeah, this is extraordinarily probable in 40 years that this would be able to do this. So it was much more grounded in fact, I think, than Star Trek was. That's the feeling I got.
Would you guys go into space, and under what sort of circumstances? Like, yeah, I'd want to go into space, but only for a week. Do you know what I mean? Or like, send me out there for a year.
I think I think I would get a bit of cabin fever. But I would do a trip to space if it was tried and tested. I would be very anxious if I was the guinea pig or if I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. So under the circumstances of it being really well tried and tested, but still, you know, an adventure, I'd do it. But not a week would be my max, I think.
I'd totally do it too, yeah.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? I mean, what an adventure. Mm-hmm. But I think we're all going to go to space at some point when we move on to the great beyond. I think we start expanding with the universe.
And, you know, let's say you're in space for the week and the Avenue 5 situation happens. Do you have a sense of who you would be? Like, how you would you be like a Karen? Do you know what I mean?
I'd be
like,
Karen.
Okay.
I'd be Karen Kelly. I'd just end up taking charge and bossing everyone around, and that would be how I would cope, I think. would be to cling on to any illusion of control that I had.
I don't know who I'd be. Probably Frank. You know, I'd be, I don't know, like Spike, I'd probably go to the bar a lot, you know. I don't know how the hell I'd react.
Well, speaking of that, is there anything that you'd want to make sure you had other than, like, you know, underpants and...
I would hope that my wife would be with me, and I'd like to have my Kindle. Those are two things I'd like to have.
So you could read.
So I could read.
Yeah,
Assuming there's internet.
Assuming there's internet.
Well,
I
I'd
was gonna
download
say.
it all before I left.
Okay.
I put yeah. I always have like 200 novels on my Kindle anyway.
Yeah.
I think everybody does.
Not everybody. But I would probably do a bit of a cheat. I would try and take my laptop. I'm assuming there was internet. That's like the world, and a source of information. But if not, I don't know. I mean, yeah, assuming my loved ones were with me, do you know, I'd take some games, like board games, things that would keep people together and interested, because games you can't master, they're always kind of fresh.
Well, it's like the question, what would you take on a desert island?
Yeah.
If you know, I'd take a lot of creamed herring, which you're not going to find on a desert island. I'd want to have a lot of nicotine gum, because I chew nicotine gum. I'd want to have, I like to have a lot of dental floss. You know, there's all kinds of things you'd need.
The sanitary stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
No man left behind.
Dead or alive?
No alive or alive?